titled The Man Who Never Slept, Part 1, The Strange Lodger. It was a rainy Tuesday evening when Eleanor Hart placed a room for rent sign outside her crumbling Victorian home on Hawthorne Street. She lived alone, and the house, inherited from her late aunt, was too big and too expensive to maintain on her meager salary from the bookstore. By Friday morning, a tall, sharply dressed man rang the doorbell. "Good evening," he said in a soft, articulate voice. "I saw your sign. I'd like to rent a room." Eleanor blinked. His presence was oddly commanding, almost surreal. "You're here pretty early. It's only 6 a.m. "I don't sleep," the man said with a small smile. "I've already been walking for hours." Eleanor hesitated. "And your name?" "Mr. Nathaniel Crane." He handed her a month's rent in cash and moved in that same day. Part 2, Nighttime Silence. The first few days passed without incident. Mr. Crane was quiet, neat, and rarely left his room during the day. At night, Eleanor would hear soft footsteps pacing slowly above her room, endlessly back and forth. At first, she assumed he was just restless. But by the fourth night, curiosity got the better of her. At 3:17 a.m., Eleanor tiptoed upstairs. His light was still on. She knocked lightly. No answer. She peeked through the keyhole. What she saw made her heart skip a beat. He was standing still in the middle of the room, eyes wide open, staring at the wall, not blinking, not moving, and he stood there like that for hours. Part 3, The Bookstore Visit. A week later, Mr. Crane visited the bookstore where Eleanor worked. He bought only one book, Dreams and Subconscious Mind, and stared at it for several minutes before saying, "I envy those who dream." Eleanor asked casually, "You said you don't sleep. Is that a condition?" He replied, "It's not a condition. It's a curse." Then he turned and left. That night, Eleanor dreamt of a dark hallway where someone whispered her name from behind every closed door. When she woke, her room felt colder than usual, and on her nightstand was the book Mr. Crane had bought, though she was certain she never brought it home. Part 4, The Past Revealed. Eleanor became obsessed. She researched Nathaniel Crane online and discovered something strange. A man by that name had lived in the very same house in 1892. He was a doctor who experimented with sleep deprivation, claiming he could unlock parts of the mind untouched by dreams. But he died mysteriously, found staring at a mirror, eyes wide open, expression frozen in terror. Shaken, she confronted Mr. Crane the next morning. "That can't be you. You're just a man." "I was a man," he replied. "But when you force yourself to stay awake long enough, your mind finds other ways to exist. My body stopped aging. My soul, however, never rests." "Why here?" she demanded. "Because this house remembers," he said, "and it calls me back. Every few decades, I return. I need someone." "Someone for what?" "To take my place." Part 5, The Sleepless Hours. That night, Eleanor couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she heard whispers. Every time she drifted into a dream, she saw Nathaniel standing in the corner of the dream itself, silent, unmoving, watching her. By 5 a.m., she was trembling, pale, and exhausted. She confronted him again. "You're putting something in my mind, aren't you?" "I cannot dream, so I watch the dreams of others." He leaned closer. "You don't know what it's like. Never sleeping, never resting, never forgetting. I need someone to dream so I can see again." Eleanor ran. But no matter where she went, room, cafe, bookstore, his reflection would appear. In windows, in mirrors, in puddles, always watching. Part 6, The Transfer. Days passed. Eleanor stopped sleeping entirely. She developed dark circles, hallucinations, and paranoia. She locked her bedroom door at night, but still she heard pacing above her. And then, inside her room, she woke one night to find him sitting at the edge of her bed. "I'm tired," she whispered. "I know," he said gently. "Let go. Let me carry your burden. Just one long sleep. That's all." And with that, she fell into the deepest sleep she had ever known. For the first time in weeks, she dreamed. But it wasn't her dream. She was back in the hallway from before. Doors surrounded her. At the far end, Nathaniel stood, smiling, peaceful. "Thank you," he whispered, and then he turned and vanished. Part 7, The New Sleeper. Eleanor awoke 2 days later. Alone. Nathaniel Crane was gone. His room was empty, bed unslept, closet bare. The only thing left was a cracked mirror and a folded note. "I have slept. Now you will wake and keep my watch until someone else dreams." Eleanor returned to her life, but she was different now. She couldn't dream anymore. And at night, she would walk back and forth in her room, unblinking, unmoving, watching, waiting. Part 8, The Sign Returns. 2 months later, the room for rent sign reappeared outside the old Victorian house on Hawthorne Street. And one rainy morning, a young woman knocked at the door. Eleanor opened it. She smiled gently, her eyes wide, hollow. "I never sleep," she said. "Would you like to see the room?" If you enjoyed our video, please subscribe to our channel, share the video with others, and don't forget to like it.